Good evening, everyone. Can I please have a motion and a second to adjourn executive session and reconvene the public session?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence to honor our servicemen and women? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will the district clerk please call the roll? Present. Can you just hit your mic so we can hear?
Jacqueline Di Lorenzo,
Present.
Jacqueline Napolitano Ferno, Melissa Torregrossa,
Present.
Dr. Joseph T. Centimore, Superintendent,
Present.
Reza Kola Hefar, Assistant Superintendent for Administration and Personnel, Robert Hauser, Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations,
Present.
Christina Poppy, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction.
Present.
Thank you. We will now have our public hearing, and it will be presented by Mr. Hauser.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity to present the 2025-26 final proposed budget. I just want to highlight to everyone in the audience, there were two documents I left on the chair. One is a copy of the actual presentation, and then the other document I left was, it's called the notebook, the budget newsletter. So those two documents are out there. And for the board and Dr. Centimore and Cabinet, you've also received both of those documents. Okay, moving forward.
Isn't that?
From the beginning, see, top left.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Nice, beautiful. Okay. All right, so like I said, this is the budget hearing for the final version of the adopted budget. Next slide. Good. As we've done in each of the other 7 presentations, this is now the 8th presentation. I put up the calendar to let everyone know where we started back in January. We even started earlier than that in December. And here we are today, May 13th, for the actual public hearing. Okay. Once again, as I've done in every presentation, we put up this summary here just to give everyone an idea of a snapshot. Starting up at the top in yellow. Oh, let's come back. Come back. There you go. Thanks. Up at the top in yellow, that's the line that represents how much the district is proposing to spend, which is a 2.91% increase from the prior year. Okay, if we go down midway, the line I highlighted in blue, amount to be raised for taxes, that's estimated to be 1.34%. That's the maximum amount per the tax cap. Okay, and then down towards the bottom, the last 5 lines, I gave 5 different scenarios depending upon the assessed value of a particular residential home, how much this budget is estimated to cost a homeowner. So for example, I have cost for a home assessed at $10,000. If you carry that all the way over to the green column, you'll see that the estimated school tax would be $2,114.42. One more column over, it would cost that particular homeowner an additional $28.06 for next year's budget, which is also a 1.34% increase. There you go, good. All right, so just a few budget highlights here, and I think it's very important to note that the proposed budget for next year, it maintains all the academic, all of the athletic, all the extracurricular club activities, and all the services that are provided. Those are maintained. Okay. In addition, we've made a big step forward with the Universal Pre-K program to expand that program from the current 11 sections that has 190 students in it. We're going to expand that by 2 sections to a total of 226 students that will be accommodated. Next slide. Okay, the next 2 slides are just a few examples of some initiatives and programmatic gains that we've had throughout, I'll say, the current school year, and hopefully moving forward. I don't know if we're going to read each one of those. Want to? Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Hauser. So I'm just going to read these for the public and the audience. In 2024, Connecticut earned bronze status recognition on the AP Honor Roll and the AP Access Award. The district offers 25 AP courses. In 2025 to 26, Connecticut High School students will have expanded opportunities to pursue peer mentoring coursework and dual enrollment coursework through Suffolk County Community College. Connecticut's Elementary Computer Science and Engineering program provides enrichment for all students. These lessons are anchored in the computer science and digital fluency standards, the engineering principles, and New York's next generation science standards. At the elementary level, Connecticut has implemented special education programming to meet the needs of students with autism and unique learning styles to promote independence and engagement. Teachers participated in on-site training designed to hone instructional delivery in integrated classroom settings. Next slide.
Should we ask a question now about that or wait till the end?
Do you want to? You can ask now.
Well,
That's fine.
I'm just curious about the dual enrollment coursework through Suffolk Community College.
Sure.
I know that we already have dual enrollment classes with St. John's, Suffolk Community, LIU, and Farmingdale. Are there any others, or is this something going to be new? Because I know we already do have something along that lines.
We do. So we currently run courses through Suffolk County Community College's Beacon program. You may have heard it referred to that way. And what we are doing is looking to deepen that partnership with Suffolk County Community College. So right now we have offered some proposals to the college system to see whether or not they will support certain courses that we already offer being sort of transferred into a dual enrollment opportunity for our students. So while it wouldn't be new course offerings, the new component would be the opportunity for students to earn Suffolk credits through those particular courses. And we're waiting to hear back from Suffolk County Community College. I do anticipate that shortly. I was just advised that we would receive word of some sort within the next few weeks.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. That is great, and I really appreciate you guys looking into that and doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. We're looking forward to continuing and deepening that partnership. Okay, moving on. Through the Emotional Awareness and Social Learning, or EASL initiative, Connecticut strives to build a district-wide culture of connection. Monthly themes and a spotlight on Connecticut's caring leaders promote our students' and stakeholders' involvement in the overall well-being of our larger school community. Connecticut's athletes earned top honors at local, state, and national levels of competition, including multiple league and county championships. To date, 14 teams have achieved Scholar Athlete recognition in 2024-2025. Each year, Connecticut's renowned Fine and Performing Arts program showcases student talents. In 2024-2025, 131 students were chosen to perform at festivals such as Allstate, LISFA, Nissikane, and Skamia. In 2025 to 2026, Connecticut's UPK program will expand to include 2 additional sections, as Mr. Hauser mentioned.
Thank you.
And we just found out today, if you want to go ahead, Ms. Poppy.
So let me just pull this up so I'm sure I have the appropriate statement here. Right. It's not a gong, it's a good. So hot off the press, earlier today, Mr. Malafronte, who is our Director of Fine and Performing Arts, has shared that he is proud to announce that Connecticut has been recognized as one of the best communities for music education by the NAM Foundation. We're grateful for the amazing support from, of course, our Board of Education, our educators, our administrators, students, parents, and families who value the arts, and sending the board and the community a giant thank you. Thank you very much.
I mean, that's such an amazing honor, but not surprising at the same time, because we say it all the time when we go to the musicals and the concerts and we have such an amazing music and arts program at Connecticut. That's amazing. Kudos to Mr. Malafronte.
We just went to a couple of the concerts, and then we also attended the Hall of Fame, and all of us were at the concert at some point or another, and last week, and they did a great job. Really phenomenal.
Sorry, Bob.
That's quite all right. It's all good news. Okay, that's right. All right, so at the moment I am. That's right. That's right. I know where I stand. I know. Next year, I might be giving the presentation from under the table, but that's okay. So, all right. So moving along here, this slide is just giving you a snapshot of the different categories of the budget and where each of those categories falls more or less from a dollar perspective, as well as on the far right on the bottom, we broke it out into percentage increases or percentages of the budget. Next slide. And I've already spoken briefly about this, but just so we can make it clear. So this current budget for 25-26, the proposed budget, on a home now that's assessed at $50,000. So the scenario I gave before was at a lower assessed value at $10,000. So this is bringing it up to the higher end range. The budget would cost about $11.69 per month. Okay, when I spoke about the $10,000 house, that was per year. But on a home that's assessed at $50,000, we're talking $11.69 per month. On the bottom of this screen, once again, I just gave the 3 scenarios: 10,000, 30,000, and 50,000, and those are the annual increases. Okay, so once again, 10,000 be about $28.06, and so on up with the assessed values. Next slide. Okay, we're required to present what's called a contingency budget. This has taken on a little different meaning once the tax cap was instituted. So for the most part here with a contingency budget, if this budget were not approved by the community, we would have to go back to what's called a zero levy. We would not be allowed to collect any more money from the taxpayers than we are collecting this current year. So the good news is, since the budget increase was only 2.91%, and the levy increase is even smaller at 1.34. If you look at the number that I circled here on the far right under the contingency budget column, that number of $227 million is around, not quite, maybe $2 million shy of the actual proposed budget. So if the proposed budget were not to be approved and we had to go to a contingency budget, we would have to sit down and look at about $2 million in expenses that would have to be cut. Okay. Next slide, please. All right, so when the vote happens, what is that, May 20th? Is the vote date, May 20th?
Next Tuesday.
Yep, thank you. There will be one proposition on the ballot, okay, and that is to approve the school budget, which is at 1.34% tax increase, and that is under or at the tax cap. Next slide. Okay, and this is just a recap for the budget to vote next Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the high school and the two middle schools. That's it.
Can you just talk a little about the state aid that was just finalized and the additional monies that was given to us?
Sure. Yep. So the state should have had their budget approved by April 1st. It took all the way until this past Friday, May 9th. So higher mathematics, that's about 39 days longer than it should have. And that left us, as long as every other school district in New York State, in a bit of an awkward position because we didn't know our final state aid numbers. On Friday, when we got those state aid numbers and the governor signed the budget into the final budget, we realized an additional $184,000 in state aid. That was mainly due to one of the 12 components of state aid, which is BOCES aid. So as we use BOCES expenditures, we realize a percentage of those expenditures back in aid. So when the state finally updated our numbers, it was a net of about $184,000. So the last meeting that we had and we presented the budget, we had to show us taking some money out of the district's reserves and fund balance to balance the budget. Now that we got $184,000 coming back to us, we'll be able to put that money back into the reserves and into the fund balance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great news. I have a question for you. What was the revenue this year from Prem? I know over the years, at least the last 4 or 5 years, we opted to rent out Prem and move the staffing to John Pearl, which has been a wonderful, it worked out wonderfully because now we have John Pearl housing our UPK, John Pearl housing our Prem staff, and now we are getting revenue from. Now, is that going into is it going to go back into fund balance, that revenue, or are we doing something with that?
So great question. So just so you know, and I'm holding the lease that we have with BOCES for Prem, the current lease. So the current lease is a 10-year lease, and it goes from July of 2022 all the way until June 30th of 2032. Okay. So the current school year, right now that we're in, the rent that we receive from BOCES is $474,271. Okay, and that the lease has a clause that'll increase for the most part no more than 2%. All right, in line with the tax cap. So this budget that I presented today for 25-26, it's going from $474,000 the rent all the way up to $483,750. Okay, so that is built in as part of the revenue to support the budget.
That is fabulous. Thank you. I just wanted to let the community know because so many people like to, unfortunately, sometimes there's fear mongering or there's people who unfortunately don't give the truth about what's gone on in the past, and I've supported very clearly and advocated for that, knowing that now John Pearl is a school that is thriving with all the rooms being used. UPK has been fully, we have a few classes there now, 4, which is incredible, and we also have our Prem staff there, and we're making money from Prem. I think we did a fabulous job from 2020 to now 2025. 5 years, no issues. Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any other questions? I will now open the floor for public comment on the public hearing only. So if you have any questions on the public hearing, please raise your hand. Number 1. I'm sorry, you have to go to the mic because of the people at home.
They can't hear.
Just a quick one. Ms. Poppy, you had mentioned the Suffolk Community College dual enrollment. Can you just explain, is it a true dual enrollment where the students can graduate with an associate's degree? Or are we just enhancing the dual enrollment classes that we currently have?
We're enhancing the dual enrollment course offerings
Okay.
that we currently have. So we're not at that level. That's a long-term goal and a long-term idea that we would love to
Do we have a
support and
timeline on
embrace.
that or no?
No, because we need to have the cooperation of Suffolk, right, in order to do that. And so this is laying some of that groundwork, that foundational groundwork,
Okay.
that's going to help us hopefully get to that point in the future. And we do have a partnership. I don't know that we mentioned Stony Brook University before. That's the 5th. I know we mentioned 5 different colleges and universities,
Right.
but Stony Brook is the 5th. I wasn't sure if that was actually
That was
said.
it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Is there a number 2? 3? All right. So we will now have an introduction of our Board of Education candidates. The candidates may introduce themselves to the Board of Education and may briefly provide a background on themselves. There will be no campaigning allowed at this introduction. We will go in alphabetical order, and we will start with Ms. Jacqueline Napolitano-Furno.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Napolitano-Furno. I am a lifelong resident of Connecticut. I live on the north side off of Cherokee Street. I am the only sitting board member who is a resident of the north side. I am a 1996 alumni of Connecticut High School, mother of 2 Connecticut students, and a proud daughter of a Vietnam veteran. I attended Suffolk Community College, where I received my associate's degree in criminal justice. I then went to NYIT towards my BS in behavioral science, where I left to become a police officer in March of 2000. I have been a police officer for NYPD and then for Nassau County Village for 25 plus years. I have served with honor and distinction, and I have worked in many positions as the youth officer for NYPD. I worked as a SRO in Nassau County, a school resource officer, and a community affairs officer, where I work hand in hand with the community, the students, and their parents. Before I became, 6 years ago, I became a Board of Ed trustee. Before that, I was on the board. I decided to become a Board of Ed trustee because I was the Board of Ed liaison for multiple PTAs, for RMS and Cherokee. I enjoyed that position. I enjoyed coming to the board meetings and being involved. I also decided as a trustee that I was going to join a bunch of committees, and I did. I have participated in numerous committees for over a decade, such as Emergency Management Team, Drug and Alcohol Task Force, Mental Health Committee, Health and Safety Committee, Curriculum Committee, Anti-Bullying Committee, and so many others. When I worked as a youth officer, I was a post advisor for the police, for Boy Scouts of America, for the Police Explorers. We taught children 14 to 20, a youth program that's designated to introduce young people to law enforcement and to their careers. I led the DEFY program in NYPD for 7 years. It's the Drug Education for Youth program. As a Board of Ed member, I have attended so many professional development classes that I actually received an award tonight. I received the Board Excellent Award for recognition conferring more than 150 points for ongoing association, professional development, or in accepting additional leadership roles. I was very proud of this, and it came at a perfect time. Thank you, NISMA.
Thank you, Ms. Napolitano.
Hold on, I got 41 more
Okay.
seconds. One more thing. I just wanted to say that I want to thank everybody for the gift of being able to advocate for 6 years. I've enjoyed being on the school board. I've enjoyed everything that we've brought forward, and I would look forward to having people consider voting on May 20th, and hopefully keep on moving forward.
Thank you, Ms. Napolitano Furno. Ms. Sarah Parisi. You just have to press the button on the mic. The one on the right.
Better? Hi, my name's Sarah Parisi. I'm running for the Board of Education. I have lived here my whole life, 56 years, in the Connecticut community. I have 3 children. One has graduated from Connecticut, 2 are still in school. One's in 11th grade, one is 12, and in 7th grade at OBMS. My professional background is I'm president and founder of a technology company focused on app development and digital video ad exchanges. Deals a lot with money. You know, running for this Board of Education, I've realized a lot of things that I had forgotten from when I was on the board the last time, 20 years ago. Times have really changed since then. One being a cap that is on the budget that wasn't back then. Things such as Prem, we had a handshake deal for 20 years.
I just have to remind you that there can be no campaigning. Just a
I
brief
understand
background.
that, but there was campaigning up on the board, up on this
Your
dais.
introduction can have no
I
campaigning.
I understand.
I just have to maintain.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
There was campaigning though. So my main concern is financial stewardship along with taking care of the kids. If we add the financial stewardship, we can take care of the kids. We can have all sorts of
Miss
different...
Parisi, I just have to ask that you give a brief background of yourself
I am.
without campaign. I'm sorry, but I just have to make sure the rules apply to all, and I just have to remind everybody.
I am doing that.
Okay.
My campaign goals, okay?
No, I'm sorry, you cannot campaign.
Okay.
You cannot.
All
You can
right.
just give a brief background of yourself. You cannot come
So
with
I've
your
lived
goals.
here for 56 years. I was on the board before. I'd like to be on the board again. I believe I can bring unity. I think that's very important. Once again, here my whole life, was a student here. I really believe that we can move this district forward in all areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I want to wish both candidates best of luck. Voting is next Tuesday at, as Mr. Hauser said, Connecticut High School, Ronkonkoma Middle School, and Oakdale Bohemia Middle School. If you don't know your polling site, you can enter your address and it will give you your polling site. Can I please have a motion and a second to waive the requirements of policy 2410, including the first reading of revised policy 2245, and approve and adopt the revisions to policy 2245, ex officio student member of the Board of Education?
Motion.
Second.
Are there any questions? So I found a few typos on the policy. I have them here for you. I could provide them after. Other than that, it looked fine to me.
Are we interviewing the child or children that are going to be put forward, or is it going to be just somebody recommended? How is,
The policy, the principal of the building will be picking an 11th or 12th grader, and then it will be brought to the board for approval.
Do you have the typos, Marisol? I guess we'll.
Yeah, so on the first sentence, believes that it is important. The first sentence. And on the next line, will designate at least one ex officio student member of the board. And on page 2, the second to last paragraph, ex officio student members may resign in writing to the district clerk. Oh, and also on page 2, ex officio student board members will be selected by the high school principal and approved by the Board of Education. Up top. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve policy 8113, extreme heat condition days, in according, first reading, and according to policy 2410?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to adopt the proposed 2025-2026 property tax report card as submitted by the April 22, 2025 Board of Education meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the instructional and non-instructional personnel listings as submitted?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items 2 through 19 as submitted?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.